Hello everybody, my name is Sloan.
And I'm Ewan.
And today we're going to be explaining gravity and force. Ewan, what do you think gravity is?
The thing that holds us down on Earth.
Kind of true. Gravity is the force that keeps us grounded and is caused from mass. So the more mass something has, the more attractive force it has. That attractive force is called gravity. So because the sun is so big, it has enough gravity to keep every planet in the solar system. If the sun was smaller, it wouldn't have enough mass and therefore not enough gravity. So the planets would just leave the solar system. Another thing is weight. Weight is an object and how much an object is pulled down by gravity. So weight is determined, so if you're heavier, that means that gravity is pulling on you more. And if you're lighter, that means gravity is pulling on you less. The second topic I'm going to be asking is friction. What do you think friction is?
Something caused by something rubbing too hard on something.
Okay, sort of true. There are two types of friction, air resistance and water resistance. Those are the main two. Air resistance is if you drop a feather and a hammer. The feather would move down slower because of the surface area hits the air more, so then the air keeps it afloat due to air resistance. However, the hammer, because it's more narrow and heavier, it'll fall down faster because there's less air resistance. Water resistance is if you're running in a pool, you're going to be slowed down more than if you were swimming. And then there's three types of categories of friction within air resistance. Static friction is where friction, when you're staying in place, that's when the friction is strongest because it's not moving at all. Sliding friction is where when you're pushing or pulling something, there's less friction because it's rubbing on the ground still, but you're moving it, so it doesn't have enough adherence. And rolling is the third least, which is because it's rolling, there's not enough friction to keep it, so there's not enough cohesion, which is why it's easier to roll something. So if you have a rolling backpack and a regular backpack, it's easier to roll the rolling backpack than pull a regular backpack. Due to air resistance, if you're falling or skydiving, the point in which the air resistance and gravity are the exact same amount of force is called terminal velocity. That's what happens when you're skydiving. That if you can't, once you reach terminal velocity, you can't go any faster because if you go any faster, you'd have to change your surface area. Our third thing is another part of we're going to be on our third topic, which is different types of force. So what do you think magnetic forces and electric, what do you think they have in common?
They pull things.
They both correspond to something. So magnets have a north and south. Electricity has a plus and minus, positive and negative charge. So magnets or electricity can in itself turn into a magnet, which is called an electronic magnet. So when you use an electric current, if you have a circuit, that circuit, if you have a lot of wires, say you have a nail and you put a lot of wires around the nail, and then you connect that wire to a battery, the battery, the wire with the nail would have a magnetic force. With that magnetic force, that can attract magnets. Magnets have, if a magnet with the North Pole and the South Pole attract, or come close to each other, they'll attract and will stick together. However, if you have a North Pole and a North Pole, or a South Pole and a South Pole, they'll repel. That means they'll push each other apart. Our next topic is centripetal force. Centripetal force is like if you're on a roller coaster and you do a loop. Have you ever wondered why? Have you ever wondered why, if you do a roller coaster, why the people don't fall off when they're at the top and they're upside down? Have you ever wondered that?
Yeah.
So centripetal force is essentially, if you have a water bucket and you spin it really fast, it doesn't fall out because the force that you use to spin it around, or the force in a roller coaster, where it goes in a circle, that's keeping the force, that's keeping the passengers and everything inside. So that's why if you're on a roller coaster and you do a loop, that's why you don't fall off, because the force from the force of the roller coaster going in a circle keeps you grounded into your seat. Our third topic is buoyancy and density. Buoyancy can be determined as the amount of water displaced, the weight of the water displaced if you drop an object. So the buoyancy of a feather is going to be less than the buoyancy of a hammer, because the hammer has more density or mass. Because it takes up more space, the amount of the water is going to be displaced more. So if in order for something to float, the buoyancy has to be the density has to be less than the fluid it's going to be in. So if you have something that weighs 1 gram for every centimeter, that's going to be, say that's the fluid, because that's the density of water. If you have an object that's 1 or 2 grams for every centimeter, that object will float because the density is more than a regular object than the water it's in. However, if say you have an object with the density of 0.5 grams for every centimeter, that object's going to float because of less density. So if you have the square, when you have the square of aluminum foil, you would so keep that in like a bowl of water or something with water, and then keep coins in there. Try to keep them like the same type of coins, so like pennies or quarters or nickels. You keep them keep going, and because the coins increase the weight, the density will increase of the boat and everything on it. So then it'll be more likely to. So once the density reaches more than the water, it'll sink. So in order to avoid that, you have to get a greater surface area so that it'll float. But you have to make sure you keep it evenly, otherwise the object might tilt over on one side and it'll sink. If you want to try out different ways to achieve buoyancy, try out different shapes. Try a star, a square, a rectangle, a circle maybe, or try to get like a shape of a boat. See if that'll help it float more. Well, anyways, that was our video. I hope you like it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and tell your friends about it.
Subscribe. Press the notification button to get all our upcoming videos.
I hope you like this video. I'm Thalwin, and this is
Be well. Bye.
Bye.